gone, and I'm gone, I'm so gone, can't find my way back home. Not that I need to go. I feel so comfortable. You get that, but that I need to grow, and I'm so far gone. Oh, and nothing even now, but that anymore. Cause I'm so far gone. I'm gone. He got me. He got me. It's not even that anymore. Cause I'm so far gone. I'm gone. In a different space, permanent vacation. This team I see it here, don't have to change. I come about nights in a better place. You put a smile on my every time I see your face. We let it flow and didn't rush into anything. We let it go and watch it blossom into many things. Baby, I just wanna help you through the night. But you make it so easy just to love you right back, and I'm
Welcome, everybody. How are we feeling this Saturday? Brother Chris, glad to see you back and in good condition. How was your week?
Um, First of all, good afternoon, Courtney. Good afternoon to everyone. I was able to see your well wishes last week when I tapped into the end of the episode. So thank you for that. But now that you asked how my week is going, while I'm appreciative for the well wishes, while I feel much better physically today, um, mentally, it does not feel good. It does not feel good because this week, as you are all aware of, especially you, Courtney, we had the Breonna Taylor decision in Louisville, Kentucky. And part of the reason why I was so tired is trying to go hard, being an educator, trying to be an activist, trying to stand up for the community, trying to participate in efforts that are meant to defund the police. And Courtney, to hear that there's no justice for her life, um, it it almost makes you as a Black person feel cheated. it almost makes you feel as though our struggle is in vain. It makes me feel as though they feel like her life means nothing, absolutely nothing. And I feel like far too often it seems like every year on a calendar basis, far too often we have to hold our breath for this landmark decision. Just to we don't even get brought to trial when one of us gets killed, and they find any justification in America to not hold people accountable, and that's one of the things that has upset me this week. I know that this episode is about dating as a single parent, but I felt as though I needed to get that off my chest because Breonna Taylor and so many others, they are still on my mind. um I can't just sit here and be okay with continuous slaps in the face, continuous refusal for justice towards our people. These people look for any little clause or any little law we've never even heard of to deny us justice. And I just want to send further prayers out to Breonna Taylor's family, Arbery's family, Trayvon Martin's family. You know, I'm from Florida. Jamarion Moore's family, anybody who's lost their life at the hands of police brutality or otherwise, you know. And I'll get off my soapbox, but I just had to say that, Courtney. Good afternoon again.
No, you know what? And it's totally understandable. And as you said, with us being from Florida, that Trayvon Martin situation, what's interesting is that when that murder happened, I had literally just moved to Georgia for the first time in my adult life. And I was the assistant program manager for a summer program. And it was so odd just seeing how the narrative had been pushed so heavily already. The murder had just happened. Well, not just happened, but they didn't get the indictment until months after. The same thing like with the Ahmaud Arbery, and of course with Breonna Taylor, which is something that we're familiar.
And the thing that upsets me specifically, I went down to Brunswick earlier this year to run the 223 and protest for Ahmaud Arbery. The thing that gets me is, why is it that when these things happen to our people, these cases get sat on for months before the public even finds out about it? Like, it's crazy to think that right now we're just about at the end of September, and there could have been someone that lost their life back in June, and we might hear about it around Halloween. Some film might come out of nowhere. It's crazy how it seems as though our cases just get sat on, and it's like they're giving them time for a cover up.
It's absolutely true.
The Breonna Taylor situation, Courtney, really touches my soul because I'm the father of a daughter, and if anything ever happened to my daughter or any one of my close family members, I think for all intents and purposes, my professional life as I know it is over, because it's over. Like, something has to be done, and I'm tired of waiting. Like Congressman John Lewis said way back during the 60s, we don't want freedom or change gradually. We want it now. Things have to change now, Courtney. And that's all I have to say on that. We can get back to regularly scheduled programming, per se.
Well, that's what I think, but it is so important because when you're talking about dating and we're talking about, just finding love, it's such a tense situation right now. And I want to thank everyone for joining us this Saturday. The seasons are changing, so it's definitely one of those Saturdays where, you just want to snuggle up and snuggle in and kind of keep close to home. So the fact that you all are spending some time with us this afternoon is definitely appreciated. But, I was saying that it was very interesting to see the agenda already being put out there, because once the indictment went through, I was here in Georgia, and that was the last time I lived here. And the youth, that I worked with, they were like, well, why was he wearing a hoodie? Isn't it hot in Florida? And I was like, wow, they're already asking like the wrong question. Like, that's how powerful media is. They were kids, and they were already kind of like we were vilifying our own.
And see, that's the thing, Courtney. We've been talking about having these segments about dating and things of that nature, but I don't want this to become the type of thing to where we as Black men and Black women are tearing each other down. A lot of these things, like you're explaining, they come off as very divisive, which is a part of the counterculture's plot. Like, we don't have time. We don't have time to not be uplifting each other. And I'm not coming today with some savior complex. This is a real feeling in my soul. These narratives are being built to tear us down as individuals. So we don't have time as Black women and Black women, Black men and Black women, to be quarreling with each other. Like,
and it was the kids
double working,
That's what really got me. It was the kids. And I explained to them, I said, no, y'all don't understand. Like, Florida is hot, but every place you go into is cold. So you just get used to wearing your hoodie. And I even showed them, I was like, I'm going to bring in my collection, because I used to have a collection of hoodies. I used to have just all types of hoodies that I could wear to work, hoodies that I could wear, to play, hoodies that I worked out in, hoodies that I was wearing.
Yeah, so you were speaking on your affinity of hoodies, but when we get into why we're single, what we were discussing, Courtney and I, we were discussing what is it like to attempt to date as a single parent. I am a single parent of a 6-year-old daughter. Courtney is a single parent. She has 2 wonderful children herself. So we've been discussing what is it like to try to date as a single parent. I know myself, when my daughter was first born, her mother and I were together, but as that relationship faded off by the time she was 3, after my daughter turned 3, like, I was starting to think, like, is it over for me? Like, I'm not even 30 yet, but is it over for me because I already have a child? Am I going to be considered damaged goods? Am I still going to be okay? So, on a separate note, I just try to remain the best possible father, and then anything else that comes along with that is extracurricular. But it's definitely a thought. Courtney, what do you think?
Wow, for me, I haven't been on a date since Black Panther. So someone actually brought it to my attention.
I hope you wore a dashiki that night too.
You said what? Your daughter was conceived that night?
No. I said no. I said I hope you wore a dashiki that night.
I was what?
No, I said I hope you wore a dashiki that night.
Oh, I didn't wear the dashiki, no, but I wore all black. I had on a really cute outfit. I wore all black. It was super cute. I was a Black Panther.
Okay.
I thought you said conceived. I thought you said my daughter.
No. But you were mentioning your Black Panther date. So what was that like to step back into the dating arena after already being a parent? Because I know for me, at first I was terrified. So
Oh, cleaning today. Yes, be Stephanie. Well, I'm divorced, so I'm coming from it from a little bit of a different direction. I immediately started dating after I divorced, and that wasn't the best of decisions, but I went from like being divorced to being in a relationship, not even like dating, but being into a relationship.
So
And then
not to step into your game room, Courtney, but for the people, because we're all in, similar universe. The universe is the same. We're in similar situations. How soon after the divorce did you start dating? Like, how soon did you feel like it was okay to step back out there?
I'm going to be very honest, and I hope I don't get booted out in the middle of me being very honest, because it's like, oh, should I be honest? But I went in very immediately. I was trying to, I was married at 19, so I was very uncomfortable with being alone. So I immediately went into dating, to being in a relationship. Like, within, I think, my divorce was finalized, interestingly enough, on Independence Day. Of course, but the courts aren't open, so it's reflected as July 6th, but the proceedings were done on July 4th. And by the gentleman that I was dating, by his birthday, we were celebrating his birthday together as a couple. So his birthday was July 13th. And I'm sorry, not even. Oh, excuse me, July 7th. It was July 7th, and we were celebrating. So literally the next day, we were celebrating his birthday. Not necessarily the divorce, we're celebrating his birthday. And we moved into a very quick relationship. He got a townhome. We moved in together. I, had young kids. Looking hindsight is 2020. That's nothing I would do now. I've been single for the last 5 years, celibate for the last.
One thing I've learned in my life is you got to take your time. You got to take your time to reflect and think about, each relationship or situation you are in. Think about the things you did. Think about the things that the person did. I say have like a total reflection and have a healing process before you step to the next person. That's what I do. I call it taking a timeout. Like me in my manly world, I call it taking a timeout. Like if things don't work out, I have learned now. When I was younger, Courtney, I would try to basically almost jump to the next person as a way to get over that previous person. But now I've learned to sort of take a timeout. So
The same. Unfortunately, I went not only through that relationship, but another. And that the second relationship, I was actually engaged to the gentleman. So we lasted far longer than the 8 months that I was with the previous. But we were together for about 2.5 more years, and we were engaged.
Well, I mean, at the same time, I don't think there's quite a book or a blueprint. These are just my thoughts on how I would approach different situations in my life. But I do think that sometimes you come across different people and their vibe is like contagious. I mean, I might see one woman and we might have such a vibe between each other that we're able to connect organically within a couple of weeks or a couple of months, or it might be the next woman that makes me feel like, all right, I mean, we're cool, but the connection is not there yet, but we can see if it's worth trying to get to know each other. Yeah. But I think just like rebounding, that's definitely something that I don't subscribe to. Again, I'll always refer to the timeout. And that helps me. That helps me in my realm of mental health as well. I mean, I just know like there's nothing to get upset about. There's nothing to get mad about. I just know that maybe that person isn't my person. So I need to reflect and think about the ways I can tweak my approach or what I accept or the places I go or things like that. Like there's always, life is almost like a social experiment. You just got to think and reflect and, decide what worked and what didn't. Courtney? I think that Courtney will be back shortly. But I think that as a as a younger man, when I first became a parent, I thought that it was going to be much harder for me to be able to date as a man than it is for a woman with a child. Um, I almost felt as though sometimes I used to feel as though if it's a woman with a child, a man is willing to step up. But a lot of times I had this preconceived notion that, oh, because I have a child, that every woman I approach, she's going to be like, oh no, you don't have a chance because I want my own children. But um, throughout time, you're able to see it's really not like that. And again, you can't have everybody around your children, so you have to be cautious about these things. Yeah, you have to be very, very careful and reflective. I think, especially when you're a parent. Even if you're not a parent, take the time and reflect. So another thing I was thinking about while talking to Courtney, um, at what point when you're dating someone, at what point do you all feel as though it's okay to introduce this new person to your child? Um, at what point do you feel like it's okay to, if you're cordial with your child's mother or your child's father, at what point is it okay to, make sure that all parties meet to attempt to move forward and make things, as cordial and peaceful as possible? How
Well,
you doing, Courtney?
hey, thank you so much for holding it down a little bit. Hey, greetings everybody. So I'm working the chat now, so I can be a little bit more flexible. Um, so as far as and I'm so glad now that I'm back on to this, so I can stop getting the boot in and out. But because I really want to be here and present for these conversations, because this is so key. When we're talking about redeveloping our when we're talking about developing relationships and we're talking about doing it the right way, and we want to talk about doing it with appreciation for the children. My children are older now. I found that it was easier to kind of do the whole single parent dating thing when I was younger, when they were younger rather, and I was younger, coincidentally. But it was easier to do when they were younger, because they would go to school and I could go on my dates. I would go on a lunch date or go to the bookstore, which I love to do. And I could be more involved that way. And again, when my children were younger, I dated two people after my divorce. So I always tried to keep that interaction down. But I do notice that now with my children, my daughter is 13, my son is 11. They remember those two relationships. And my son, it hurts my heart sometimes, but he's always like, you dated a lot of guys after dad. And I was like, I dated too. Like, why are you saying it like that? but to him, that was, because that's his dad. So that was one too many. My daughter doesn't have the same sentiment, but I tell you what my daughter does have, which I really value and appreciate, is that she says something to me and it really breaks my heart, but I'm always full disclosure here. You know how I am.
Yeah.
But she said she didn't like that when the gentleman I was engaged to, my ex-fiance, when he moved in, that their room became the front room. And she said, I didn't like that. And I told her, I'll never do that again. You'll never lose your spot again. Like, that hurt to hear, and she told me that a couple of years ago. She was just like, I didn't like that. And I promised her, I said, they would never lose their spot again. So y'all, for full disclosure, my kids, yes, they're 13 and 11 and they still sleep in the bed with me most nights. We try to do it just one night a week, but it usually morphs into about 2 or 3, about 3. I'm not going to lie. So I am getting to the age now where, I do want my space back. I'm waiting to get my California king bed, and so that we can have that option. They are great, right? Yes, and my daughter, as you know, Chris, is taller than me, so she needs the space more than I do. I'm just kind of being, a little greedy, but yeah, I definitely am reading the room and appreciating what people are saying about waiting. And hindsight again is 2020. I didn't, but looking back, absolutely should have. But it has been, a few years now since my last date, and the date that I did go on, because they were with their dad that same weekend of Black Panther. They've never met that gentleman. They don't even know. And so that definitely brings me into another conversation, because I know, Chris, you and I are both, believers. How do you handle dating, being a Christian, dating and doing it that way? Is there a different approach that you have with being a single parent and dating and doing it the Christian way, as opposed to how you feel like you would handle things differently just being a single parent dating?
Well,
does that have any type of significance or impact?
Well, I definitely want to say, although I'm a believer, I'm not a perfect man. I'm not a perfect Christian. Do I pray every day? Yes. Do I read the Bible a lot? I try, but let's see. I would say before I reach my spiritual enlightenment, I would say before the age of 25, my approach did not include Christ or wait until marriage or anything like that. I was a young man trying to get it how I lived, but you got to give a boy a chance to grow some. J. Cole said that. So now that
we quoting J. Cole on the Why You Single Saturday, y'all, in the building. In the building.
So I had to reach my spiritual enlightenment, and once I did that, and now I'm saying this is what I did. This is not some of my homeboys might not be into this or anything. This is about me and my life journey. When you look into Corinthians and see what love is, the factors that lead up to being what love is, that's one approach. Now if I'm going to be dealing with a woman and it's real, I would want to see what's up with waiting until marriage. Now I might fold, I'm not perfect, but I'll try. The intention is there, so I would say the approach is definitely different. You're catching me at 30. I turned 31 October 13th. So the approach is definitely different. Now I'm more patient. Marriage is definitely a goal. I'm willing to, find a special woman and save that special moment for our wedding night. Again, with another disclaimer, I might fold, but I'll try. I'll try, Courtney.
I do not play with you on that word, bruh. It's either you in or you nah. I know we all fall short of the glory, but brother, you're leading the way. You're the man. We've had these conversations privately, and now publicly, but
you give
people.
the greatest advice, by the way. You really
you.
do. You do.
Thank you. No, I really see you as a real brother. I've said that very early on we met. I really do see you as a brother, Chris, and I think that you're incredible too. I'm inspired. I'm encouraged. Just the fact that when we would have these conversations, so y'all having these glimpses, y'all seeing this. These are real conversations me and Chris have had, and he was like, "Yo, we should." Like, let's do something with this. We should bring out some cameras. And I'm like, you know what? I got this channel. It be peace. Let's do it. So, but I really appreciated that when we talk, you listen, because that means a lot. And that's also something that I'm working on as wanting to be a wife again and looking forward to being a wife again and listening more, loving more, being more my man's piece. So I can definitely say that this walk of celibacy, this commitment to that, to be a wife again, as my body is being prepared. I was just telling someone right now that I'm interested in, and we're trying to kind of figure things out with seeing each other, with dating. That I am very much like, my life is very organized the way it is right now. It's very organized. So it's a good thing that he's not local, because, my life kind of gets, I'm just going to be full disclosure here, it gets kind of out of whack when, the last time that I dated, it totally, my household changed, my schedules changed, because all of it has to be considered. And that's why this approach, or this go around, I said it's got to be for good, or it's not going to happen. And I know as he's younger than me, and as a younger man, that's a lot of pressure. So I tell him all the time, look, I'm cool, because at my age, I've done it. I have my children. I've had the wedding, I've had the marriage. So that's a lot for you to take on, that, hey, this is going to be a commitment. But I'm like, I'm just not interested in going into a sexual relationship without it being a forever. I just cannot. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. You should definitely have standards, Courtney. You should definitely have standards, and that's another thing I appreciate. Talking to you in real life, I appreciate the wisdom that you share, and that's part of the uplift of our culture. Because some of the nuggets you drop on me just about your life, it makes me consider and think in my life, and it kind of helps me tweak just a few things. So I thank you for being an inspiration. And he's out there. You're doing the right thing. You should always have standards. I raised my daughter to have standards. If they can't meet your standards, then that person is not for you. Simply put.
I definitely agree. I was raised with a very active and engaged and in the 10 toes down daddy. Even though he's a wildcat, don't hold that against him, Chris. My dad was a great dad, is a great dad. So shout out to Richard Delancey. Yeah. Shout out to Richard Delancey. Raised 4 daughters and 1 son. So imagine that. And everybody's living. Everybody's living. My daddy didn't kill nobody. But definitely taught me what a man was supposed to do. So I cannot. And then I feel the same thing. I definitely know my son is getting older, and he watches, just like, I was mentioning before, he literally told me, yeah, you dated a lot of men after that. And I'm like, wow, two. So I know that they were like, I love that song, be careful, little eyes, what you see, because what you see becomes what you do. And I'm raising a daughter and a son. So I have to be, as I like to call them, a diamond and a son, and they're of age now where they're watching, they see, they're tuning in. I definitely want to go over a couple of comments that I think were great. Be Stephanie Bewitched, not bothered. I hope you're still in here, but she said that her daughter did too, and she's well adjusted, living in Atlanta on her own. I think she meant sleeping in the bed with her, because brother CER Senior gave me a little slack. He said that that's a lot for them to sleep with you every night, but to each their own. You know what it is, but when I tell you this, Chris, I really enjoy my children. And I don't think that people really understand what I say when I say that, like we do so much together. We work out together. We shop together. We dine together.
It's not a chore having them.
No, like I really enjoy, like we pick out little movies that we're going to watch, when we would go to the movies, it would be like I said in the last stream, and brother CER got on me then too, but I was like, I date my children. Like, I do, we go on dates. So like I said, this relationship that I am in right now is very new. We're just, talking and feeling each other out. Like I told him, I think it's a godsend that he's not local, because I'm the type of woman that I love to put my all into my relationship. And my children are at such a stage where I can't drop the ball. I can't let them down. And so, us not being in the same city right now is a real place of peace for me. Whereas the gentleman is like, hey, I wish we were closer because I want to like see you all the time. And I'm like, I do too. Like, but I know that God knows what's best, and he's keeping my heart and everything else guarded, keeping me in that prayer closet, and just keeping me committed, because like I said, my ultimate goal is to be a wife again. It's not to be, not to just date again. It's to be a wife again, dating with a purpose, which is something that someone said last time that I really loved. I think it might have been Jen J. I don't know if she's here today, but it might have been Jen J. But Twyla B also agreed. She said that that's my goal, waiting till marriage. Absolutely. And brother CER Senior, as we see the highlight quote of right now, having standards and unrealistic wants is two different things. So,
I agree.
True. So what are some, so we did go over last Saturday, even though we got off topic a couple of times, but what are the difference between standards and unrealistic wants? Chris, on your behalf, what do you think? What are the differences?
I would briefly say on a standard would be like, you as a woman, you want somebody to respect you. You want somebody to have morals. You want somebody, stable financially. Something that's unrealistic is if you're going around saying, oh, I want a guy who's 6'7". He used to play for the Atlanta Hawks. He drives a Lamborghini truck. His credit score is an 850, and he has to be nice to me and my children and things like that. Like, you see how the more and more I talk, it starts to get expensive and more unrealistic. But having, your everyday standards, making sure that a person is purpose driven. Do they have goals in their life? Are they educated, or are they dedicated to learning new skills? Do they try to make themselves better? Do they try to, uplift the people around them, the community? Those are standards. Like, is this person disrespectful? Like, you don't want anything like that. Can this person be taken home to Miami to meet my mom over the holidays? That's what I mean. I don't mean like, nah, I'm not talking about something unrealistic like, oh, I want you to look like Ari Lennox, and me, I'm a regular guy. Like, that's what I mean.
Well, I noticed that something that you put in the later should be a standard. Somebody to be nice to your children. As I used to say to my the gentleman I was engaged to, because he didn't have any children. First, that's what I was going to say earlier, and I think I got booted out. But I find that odd. I tend to attract a lot of men that don't have children. And, I always find that that's a very awkward conversation to have. And I can't even, to me personally, I can't even entertain like really dating you because I know you're not going to get it. I don't know if you watch him at all. I think I've sent you a couple of his videos, but it was like Mad when I was sending you like a lot of Mad videos. But Derek Jackson had a great series a couple of years ago in regards to dating women with children and why the pros, and like he was like, really, there are no cons except for the ones in your mind, your mental, because like, the pros of when you're dating a single mom, he just listed a lot of things like just being organized. And like, honestly, all the things that I really felt I was being, people accused him of pandering. He always got a lot of, he always got a lot of pushback. But I feel like I don't look for men that don't have children. That just has happened. But with the two situations I've had, they haven't panned out. And I think that sometimes, even self-consciously, they think, people that don't have children and you have children, they're thinking that you're like, that you're, that they're the prize, so to speak. Because, speak on that.
I've picked up that vibe before. But another thing, what's weird is you started talking is myself having a 6-year-old daughter. I don't think I've ever approached the next single mom. Like if I'm at Publix and I see a woman with a son or daughter that looks my child's age, maybe younger, maybe a year or two older, and she's by herself. Like I've never approached her or thought to approach her. So that's the weird thing. Like I've never, myself being a single father, I've never been in that situation yet where I'm in a relationship or trying to build something with a woman who separately has her own child. You know what I mean? Like ever since I had my own child, my universe just hasn't worked out that way,
I definitely hear you. I honestly, when I was actually, the last time I was in Atlanta, I dated a gentleman for about 4 months, and he had 2 daughters, but they were out of state. They were in Florida also subsequently. And that didn't work. But it was good that he understood the parenting, because there were times where he would come by, he wanted to go out for a walk or what have you. And I'd be like, I'm about to put the kids down, or, I just cooked dinner, and he was understanding. But as far as other issues, it didn't work. So I would say that it's not that I'm opposed to dating men with children. That just hasn't been my experience. Most of the men that I've seriously dated don't have children. And then the time when I did date a man seriously that had children, it was other qualities. It had nothing to do with the kids, that prohibited us from proceeding. So, I will say this. I wanted to post this question to the chat. So guys, please, thank you so much for staying engaged with this conversation. I just love talking with you, Chris. Like I said, I really always feel like I'm being listened to, I'm being heard. I'm not just being like, you're not waiting for me to get through so you can weigh in. And so I really appreciate you all kind of being a part of this, because like I said, these are conversations that me and Chris were having like privately. So you guys being engaged is really appreciated. But I
No,
wanted to put this
you
out
drop
to
a
the
lot of
chat.
gems, Courtney.
Ah, thank you. And I said Chris is wearing the right hat today too, y'all. Y'all see that? He got on the dad hat. He got on the dad hat.
Literally.
Yeah, and CR senior, Sir Senior, I always say CR, excuse me, but Sir Senior, you're absolutely right. There are pros and cons and everything. Agreed. I just think that sometimes those are not openly discussed, especially when it's the parenting, the single parenting in mind, in consideration. Sometimes it may be things that aren't even considered. Like I remember when we were breaking up, when I was breaking up with the guy that I was last, in a relationship with. He was talking on the phone to one of his friends, and one of his friends was like, "Well, is it the kids?" And he was like, "Nah, actually, the kids are great." And I was like, over in the other room, like, "You're damn right, those kids are great." Like, hell yeah, those kids are great. Because they have a great foundation. Like I wasn't chasing my ex-husband to participate in, my kid's life. Like I wasn't willing, I don't will anybody in there to be a fill-in baby daddy. I don't have to. Like my ex-husband is he's salt of the earth with it, like literally, and because I had a great figure to look for in that regard, with my father. And I don't have those complaints, and even being up here now with moving out of state, my daughter's father, she's always, we're getting things together because she's always asking, when can I go visit, da 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 da. And I love that I don't have children that feel like they, like there is nobody else, even if nobody else thinks that, because the schools call me, whenever, there's something, they always call me. But I appreciate that my kids they know dad. And that's the way it should be. They know exactly like what's on that cap. What that cap is on your hat. They know dad. And
that's essential.
I'm not looking for a fill-in. I'm not looking for a fill-in. Like I'm looking for actually someone that I can continue to build my legacy with, So the question that I wanted to pose to the group is that do you think that it's easier dating when children are older than younger? Because I know I gave my piece on it. I know you gave your piece a little bit, Chris, but I wanted to see from the chat what they thought. Is it easier to date when the children are younger or older? And again, with my standpoint, because I got cut off before too when I was stating it, but with my standpoint, I thought that it was better dating when they were younger, but because I just thought that they weren't just, I didn't feel like I was intruding so much, or, I just thought that it wasn't a big deal. But in hindsight, they saw a lot, they felt a lot. And I don't like that they didn't feel like they could tell me that at that time. So because, little mouths sometimes can't form the words. And so I feel as though I would be more interested in dating now that they're older, so that they felt more comfortable with talking to not just me, but also my significant other about their feelings on everything. So, and I know your daughter's still relatively young, but what are your thoughts in regards to that, Chris?
Well, see, here's the thing. Her mom and we broke up at the very end of 2017, about 3 years ago, right? But we remain cordial, and I I don't bring other women around my daughter. I might go on dates here and there throughout the years with different women, but they never met my daughter, so it was never a conversation that needed to be had. Now, fast forward, my daughter's only getting older. When I meet the woman that I'm gonna marry and everything like that, um, I'm wondering if it's gonna be like a culture shock to my daughter, or will there be like an awkwardness because she's literally never in her life seen me with any other woman but her mom. Of course, there's been women after her mom from her age of 3 to 6 as a child, but still, she's never seen these women because they were not official relationships. They were like little, casual outings here and there. You know how it goes sometimes. And yeah, so I'm wondering, as my daughter gets older, how is she going to view these things? I try to, maneuver around as respectfully as possible, by not having all sort of women around my daughter. So I raise her to be respectful. Her mom raises her to be respectful. Her mom is a wonderful woman. It's just that our relationship didn't quite work out. That doesn't mean she's a bad mom. I think her mom is a wonderful woman. I just want to know, like, how's it gonna be when my daughter gets a little older, like maybe 10 years old? Is she gonna try to, throw salt in the game? Is My daughter and I have a very close bond. Like, she's a daddy's girl. Um, I wonder if the fact that she's a daddy's girl, is that going to make it easier to introduce her to the woman that I plan to have around, for the rest of my life? So that's where my thinking is with that. So whereas your children are a little bit older, Courtney, my daughter is 6. So this is currently my real life right now, attempting to date while she is younger. And yeah, you're right. She does go to school, but I'm a school teacher too, so I have to figure out different ways. And teachers are very good with being creative and adapting to quick changes. So we'll see. I'll have to bookmark my response and let you know what happens over the next like 3-4 years or so.
Well, I'm sure we'll definitely be in touch, but I'm telling you, yeah, you really don't realize how much you're taking in. And I tell you, when my daughter told me that, a little bit of my heart broke, that she said, I didn't like that, that we had to sleep in the front room. And I was just like, she's so right. And I said, oh, I'm never going to kick my babies out of bed again. So we got to figure something out. We got to figure something out. I mean, back then we were in a 1-bedroom home. And so that was the reason why, too. It wasn't like, it wasn't like I just kicked my babies out the bed. We were in a 1-bedroom home. I didn't kick them out their room. But in every home that we've had since then, we've had multiple rooms. But they still like to sleep with mama. So that's peace. That's peace. And I never thought, I honestly thought that if, my plan was that if I didn't have children by 30, I wasn't going to have them. And I had my daughter at 27, my son at 29, and I still do want more. I would love to be married again, and prayerfully in the next couple of years, so I can still enjoy my pregnant and my non-pregnant self, because pregnancies tend to I've only had I've only experienced longer pregnancies. I've heard that multiple after your like first one, they get shorter, but no, my son was 2.5 weeks late, so I'm like, no, I can't imagine going more than 2 weeks, with being, more than the 42 weeks. So it's been definitely a ride. At this point, at this stage, I will say that I have to be very honest. I have chosen over the past few years, someone made me realize this the other day, and I didn't realize until they said it, but I had a good sis in faith. Her name is Nay. And she was just like, okay, I get it. Your kids are your security blanket. And I was like, what? No. And she was like, oh yeah. So you don't have to worry about dating. Like, your kids. And I'm just like, wow, I never thought about that. I don't like to consider myself to be a coward. I just really thought I was doing a more responsible thing by, tending to them. But I did kind of had to step back a little bit and just kind of see that, yeah, she's kind of right. That's a great excuse. That's a great excuse to be like, nah, it's like before having kids, the old, I gotta wash my hair tonight excuse. Um, so I will say that I have kind of been using them also as a little bit of a crutch, so I don't have to worry about dating and competing and being out there in the market. So I'm really excited about this gentleman that I am, that I'm seeing and are talking to, because literally we are just talking. I'm not doing that old, high school version of we're talking and we're actually doing other stuff, but we haven't committed. We're actually just, we're talking, but we are having really great conversations.
Courtney, at least you reflected.
You said what?
No, I was saying at least. No, I was saying at least you reflected and you thought these things through. So see how I'm saying your approach in this situation is even different. Reflection is essential. You need it like you need water. It's essential.
Gosh.
I don't know. That's my life advice.
You're so sweet. No, and you know what? But so funny. So next time I'm going to show you, because I always keep saying I'm going to show you. But next time when we do a live, I'm going to show you. I do have a double C water bottle. And I'm like, we need to get these out. But yeah, I had to kind of step back. So I'm excited about seeing where things are going, because I'm now thinking of it with a different mindset, that I'm not just going to use my kids as a crutch to just turn the situation down and just say, well, it's because I'm a mom. I'm able to, they're old enough that I can have a responsible conversation and I can not use them, but I can still include them in this entire process, which is, ultimately the way it's got to be, especially, like I said, I'm a forever type of girl. I don't, I don't date for kicks. And so that's not something that I want. Oh my gosh, Swarthy Daisy. Look at you, got a boo. And Swarthy went to FAMU too, Chris, just to let you know. Rattlers are in the building.
Oh, yeah. Another one.
Rattlers are in the building. Yeah, we got another one. FAMU Lee, all in here all day. So welcome to the chat, sis. So yeah, I definitely appreciate having, having your take on it, because that balances me also. And I will even go as far as to say this, Chris, that I think without you and I having these conversations, I wouldn't have felt comfortable dating someone younger. Because how, like, when our first couple of conversations, I was like, yeah, nah. Like, I wouldn't even entertain that. Like, I'm on some real grown woman stuff. But you're so mature, and
the vibe was there,
Yeah, the vibe was totally there. And you listen, and we can actually and I can see really what perspective is. Because I like to say that I'd like to use prison perspective, but in all intents purposes, I don't. Oh, Swarty Daisy wants you to know also too, she's from Miami also. So Miami and FAMU connection in here. Swarty, you're gonna get all the C's today, sis. You're getting all the C's, all the claps.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really appreciate we can have these conversations and we can be open and honest, and we can really I take value in the things that you say, and that gave me a little bit more confidence with dating someone younger, because I think before our conversations, I would have totally been like, oh my gosh, no way. You young boys, y'all not thinking like what I'm thinking. Y'all whatever. But he's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. So let's see. Swarty, we're gonna have to talk later. But yes, younger. So we're seeing how things develop. But
This is amazing.
are there any other perspectives that I think I might be missing as a single dad, because I'm approaching it from like a single mom standpoint? Or what do you think about that with sleeping with the kids? Like, could you date another woman and, you know, she had children and she was like, yeah, my babies are teenagers and they still,
like I said, Courtney, I can only speak on my life experiences so far. And me, I regard myself as a hands-on dad as well. My daughter has her own room. She has her own bathroom at my apartment. She has her own everything, her own laptop, her own everything. But why she feels the need to creep into my bed, I have no idea. And again, like I said, I've never had another woman around at the same time that my daughter has been around. It's never been serious enough like that. So I've never had to tell another woman that, or I don't know. I might get away with it because my daughter is 6 and she's a girl. I mean, I might get away with it, but I don't know if I met a woman and she said she had kids like your age and you say that they sleep with you like every night. Me on the surface, I'll be like, well, maybe it's a parent thing, but every night? Like, you mean like this is a thing? Like every night? Like my daughter, she's 6. I understand you might have nightmares or something like that. I get it. You can come and get in my bed, whatever makes you, you know, I'm supposed to be your protector, all that good stuff. But again, let's revisit this when my daughter gets a little bit older. I can tell you right now, when my daughter is like 13, if she comes and sleeps in my bed, it's like, nah. Like, I mean, is there something we need to talk about? Like, are there issues at school? What's going on in your personal life? But not like sleep, you know, like not sleep in my bed and stuff. Because you have your own. So that's my perspective on that.
I am getting reamed over here in the chat. They coming for me, Chris. Sir Senior is right back at it. He said, "No, with all due respect, that is way too much for them to sleep with you every night." And but see, this is the difference, right? Because I think you're absolutely right, and that's why I love hearing your perspective, Chris, because their dad very early on. I mean, when they were 2. First of all, he snatched him off the breast. He was like, no more breastfeeding. No more breastfeeding for y'all. But also the bed, he was like, no, they cannot be sleeping in the bed. And I was just like, oh my gosh, but it's so much easier for me because, you know, I don't have to get up during the night. So then he was starting to be like, well, I'll get up, you know. So then that was the case because we had a townhome down in Kendall, and so the bedrooms were facing each other, which was phenomenal. You know, it wasn't like one was in the front and one was in the rear of the townhome. The condo was like they were facing each other. So he was just like, no, it's not that big of a difference. You know, we're right across from each other, literally across the hall. I'll get up in the middle of the night, what have you, but you know, no, we can't keep doing that. And so I kind of, but yeah, I'm not going to make excuses. Sir Senior, you're right. It's a security blanket. Nay was right. It's a security blanket. It's just gotten a lot easier, you know, than having to, you know, literally. And I feel bad just like pushing them out of bed every night. So that's just how they end up. But I will say that, you know, my guy says that he's going to work on getting me a California king. So that's the deal, California king. Then I won't complain because, you know, he buys the bed, then that would be cool. But like I said, we'll have to revisit all of that.
A king size bed. I have a king size bed right now, and my daughter.
A king size bed is not enough. It's not enough for me. It is not. I'm like the Never Enough song from The Greatest Showman. I need that California King. The King is cool. I've always had, well, not always. So I've had a King for the past 6 years, but now I'm like, I'm ready for that California King. Yeah. Oh, listen to this. So, listen, he said, Sir Senior said, see, it is laziness, not motherly love, like you was trying to say. I admitted it though, sir. Like, this is what I be talking about with you. I said, once I started saying it out loud, I realized that yes, so some of it is, a lot of it is, but no, it's not like I was trying to say, I did say it, but I owned up. I owned up. That's what I do. I glow up. I glow up. Absolutely.
I
Let's
like
see.
how you put the glow up in there. See, Courtney, you be spot on, you know. You spot on.
Thank you. Now, Swarty Daisy, this is our Rattler Miami sister. She says, can we get a CNC show on dating younger guys? Only because I had that experience kind of last year. I wasn't open to it, but then I got on board. Exactly. The same with me. And I'm telling you, when Chris and I first met, which was just a few months ago, but I was like so impressed like with his like community advocacy and, you know, FAMU already. I was like, oh, I'm already tuned in. But the more conversations we started to have, I was like, you know, that I wouldn't have thought that a younger guy would have these type of really good conversations. And then it likened me back. So that's how I ended up dating this guy now, because it likened me back to another younger guy that I used to always have these good conversations with. And he kind of went ghost. And I was like, okay with him going ghost, because I was like, you know, I didn't think anything was going to develop anyway. But as of this week, we started talking again. And I was like, man, you know, yeah, I'm feeling like, you know, if I would have had those walls down before, maybe, you know, he wouldn't have gone ghost. And I didn't care that he went ghost because I wasn't interested in, you know, dating someone younger.
See, us young brothers, Daisy, she can probably attest to this. If you want you a young brother, you gotta go back to Florida, go back to the hill, and go get you a FAMU, bro. It's the way. It's the real world.
Well, this guy didn't go to FAMU. He went to school and he didn't go to FAMU, but he went to, I think he did go to an HBCU, but he didn't go to school at FAMU.
I'm joking, by the way, but no.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but no, I would, you know, trust me. I appreciate I appreciate our Rattler fam. Oh yeah, and Sir Senior, I know that California Kings are shorter, they're just longer. I want longer. Like I want it to be wider. You know, I got cats too. So sir, I'm really gonna make you mad. Not only am I talking about sleeping with the kids every night, but I got the cats too. I want the cats to be
go off.
He about to go off.
Yeah.
Chris, he's not having it. Sir is not having it with me and wanting to have this whole sleep. I want to sleep the whole house in my bed. I'm sorry. That's just, I like it. You know, I like to be in the bed with other people. I just don't want them to be on me when they're in the bed. Does that make sense? Am I asking for too much? Is that too much to ask? I want them to be in the bed. I just don't want them to have to be on me because I still want my own space.
Courtney, my weird thing, I mean, maybe this is too much information for the world, but my weird thing when I'm in the bed, I have to have comforters all over me, but from like my kneecaps down, that has to be uncovered because I like my legs to be cold. Like that's the weird thing about.
Oh, that's a Miami thing. I've seen that. That's a Miami thing, definitely. Like me, I only run air at night. I don't care how hot it gets in the day. I don't care how long we've been in that house. I only run air at night, and I've got to be cold. Now, I tell you this, because you know I'm from Philly. I tell you this. Sleeping in a place that's naturally cold is not something that you want to do on a regular basis. Colder climates create bad dreams. And I remember when we moved to the condo in Kendall, I realized that it all registered because I wasn't having bad dreams anymore. And so the good sleep is definitely appreciated, but I'm that type of person too. Like I've got to have some type of chill at night, somewhere I've got to have, the pillow got to be cold, or something. I've got to have some chill. But I need my space. But yeah.
I don't mean to be a nerd or anything like that, Courtney, but I read an article the University of Stanford put out like a year or two ago where they said the perfect temperature for you to fall into REM sleep is 71 degrees. So
yes, I've seen that study. Correct.
You have your AC on 71 degrees, which is what I do at night. They suggest those are the perfect temperatures for sleeping, but hey, who knows?
Okay, so we got a nice temp control debate going too, and also we want to welcome to the chat. Hey Jen J, we see you in here, sis. We got about 20 more minutes in the chat, so we're about to open up the floor. If anybody wanted to contribute, we're gonna open up the panel. But let's see here. So I think Sir Senior said that he's the opposite in regards to the air. I'm imagining that's what you mean. You like it warm at night. I used to. I will say this. In Philly, like I said, definitely. I got used to liking it hot all the time. People would come to my house in the summertime and be like, Courtney, where's your air at? I'm like, we don't run no air here. We spend all of our money on the heat during the winter, and we don't run no air in the summer. Like, that's just not what we do. They're like, well, what do you do to cool down? We go swimming or we go outside. That's what we do. We're not running no air. So just forget it. But with living in the South, it probably took me about a year. With moving back to Florida, I became team air at night, but only at night, because I like the heat, trust me, and I don't like unnatural air. Like even when I'm riding in the car with someone and they want to put on that air, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's freezing. Let's just roll these windows down. Like, what are we doing? But yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, so Jen J says 71 degrees where they do that at. It's 110 every day. She's in Las Vegas. So that's why she's saying that.
I love Las Vegas. As a matter of fact, Courtney, random side note, October, I'm acting up because that's my birthday month. So Founders Weekend, I'll be in Tallahassee. For my birthday, I'll be out in Las Vegas, actually, October 13th.
Oh, wow. So that's amazing.
That week I'll be out in Las Vegas.
I'm glad you let me know that, but will you be back by when I have the townhome housewarming on the 31st?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Because I definitely want to, because it is virtual, so you can come virtual or you can come in person because you're here. But if you want to attend virtually, you can too. But guys, this brings me to another reminder, which is a great segue. The link has dropped if anybody wants to join the panel and include any information, not include information. I'm already on my melanin address type pitch. But if anybody wants to kind of join this chat, this is fun. This is a fun time. We open things up. You can ask questions. It's all peace. But next Saturday, we are actually launching this show on our channel. So make sure you send an invite because it is going to be a slumber party. We're having a Why Are You Single slumber party next Saturday, October 3rd. Y'all, you have to cam up. So have your jammies on. Have your correct, appropriate jammies on, okay? And be ready to cam up. We're gonna cam up. We're gonna play some games. It's gonna be fun. But that is going to be a private invite. We're not trying to do no OnlyFans or nothing, but it will be a private invite. So, and it's going to be on our channel. So that channel again is CNC Show Us at gmail.com. And it will be our launch. So to get invited to that stream, you need to send an email to cnc show us at gmail.com. The link is ticking across the bottom of the screen, and you will get an invite to the Why Are You Single slumber party. Y'all, it's going to be Very fun. We're gonna do some truth or dare. We're gonna do some fun games. We're gonna be getting it in, and it is a slumber party. So plan on getting it in for a while. You know, we're gonna see who can hang all night because I think y'all be talking. I don't know who can hang all night. Okay, so now coming to the stream, we have CER Senior. I know you're gonna get on me about these sleeping. I don't care. I don't care. What do you have to say, CER, Sir Senior? What do you have to say?
Okay, salute to you, salute to Chris.
Yeah, how you doing, brother?
All right, salute to everybody in the chat. I guess I'll start there. That sleeping in the bed thing, yeah, you gotta curb that. You gotta curb that, especially they way too old. They way too old. They way too old. Like I really like I always had like a California king or king size bed. Like it makes me anxious to sleep in a small bed. Like I mean, I'm short, so ain't like I need all the space, but still, it's just I'm used to it. But nah, yeah, I like my kids. You know, they will crawl up and be in the bed, but nah. It's for their development. You have to do certain things for them. You can't just think about you. You have to think about them. What's best for the kids, the children, you know, and their development. The longer you don't have those strict guidelines, the same thing is with dating. Like you got strict guidelines with dating, strict guidelines with parenting. Bruce Lee used to say when he would talk about parenting, he was like, you can't have no feelings when you're being a parent. Like you got to turn your feelings off. And what he meant by that was like if you in your feelings, you're like, well, I don't ever want to punish you, and I don't ever want to tell you no, and I don't ever want you to be upset or hurt or not get your way. But when you're being a parent, it's about their betterment. You got to look further down the road. So teaching them to always sleep in the bed with you, yeah, that's not good for their development.
Yeah, he's speaking from a socio-cognitive standpoint from what I've come to understand. But yeah, that's literally where I'll leave it at. To each his own. Your household is your household. But yeah, I'm sort of torn between the two, sir and Courtney. I agree with you wholeheartedly, sir, about the development standpoint. And then Courtney, where I agree with you is that on a surface level, being a parent, like I said, if my daughter is having a bad dream one night and she comes and get into my room, in my bed, I'll let her get into my bed. I won't kick her out per se, but it's not like a scheduled thing. Oh, when it's time for you to go to sleep, you come and get in daddy's bed. Like that's not what's going on, you know.
And that's what I think is really good that men, I think that you guys can do that a lot easier than women. Like with like I said, there's certain things that I hear when my kids are talking to my ex-husband. They talk to him about totally different things than what they talk to me about. They'll get off the phone with him and they'll turn to me and be like, "Oh, we want this, this, and this." And I'm like, "Wow, you were on the phone with your whole daddy who's a lawyer and who has, all of this resource, but you get off the phone with him because they said daddy don't care. Daddy don't care." That's what the question is. So even though you know that he has access to those type of funds, you're gonna get off the phone with him and tell me how you need an iPad, these things you need for school, all of these things you need. And they're like, "Well, daddy don't care. Daddy don't care." And I'm like, wow. So yeah, I find that very interesting because I ask them all the time too. I say, "Well, what do y'all do with daddies?" And they're like, "Oh, we sleep on the couch," or they sleep all these other places but in their bed. And they're like, sometimes, their stepmom sleeps, on the couch too and things like that. So because I am super, super orderly. Like, I'm like, we have bedtime, we go to beds, you got to be in a bed, you have to have on PJs, that sort of thing. And like I said, I just think that for so long we were just kind of always used to doing it together. But oh wow. So Swarty Daisy says, my friend actually called me today freaking out because her 10-year-old has been secretly posting videos on YouTube. That's crazy. That's young. What do you think about that, Chris? And sir, what do you guys think about that?
On my daughter's laptop, I was the one that unboxed it and configured everything. And I have luck on my side that she's only 6. I know that these things are out there, but I configured her laptop to where um, everything is the kids version. So she has like YouTube Kids. So she can't access YouTube from her laptop, or it's blocked. Any app she tries to download, I have it configured to where um, she has to basically send the request for that app to be approved, and that request gets sent to my email. So even if I'm not with her at the time, I can see like, oh, she's trying to download this, she's trying to order this, she's trying to order that. So it's all about how you configure it, and you got to monitor these things. I do that, and then her mom is like the tech guru of our association. Like her mom can hack anything. I'll stop talking.
um, you definitely gotta watch what your kids do, and that's a big thing on parenting. People like to parent, from the couch or parent from the bed or something like that. Parent from the easy boy, when you have to actually be active. Parenting is active sport. You got to get in there and see what they're doing, and really, because kids are smart and clever and quick, and they're gonna try to find a way to do what they want to do. And especially, you have to watch what they're attached to, like their friends and even other family members, because they'll promote them to do stuff that they wouldn't normally do, but they'll do it because everybody else is doing it. Well, everybody else is making twerk videos, so I want to make one too. That type of thing. So you have to really be on that. As a parent, you really have to be on that and make sure that you have um a co-parent that is willing to work with you on that, because that's the biggest divide. Because like you said earlier, where the kids will come straight to you and be like, hey, can we have this and this? It's because kids know, like, they know who to go to. They know they can just tell you, I want, this and the other, and more than likely you'll do it. Like, they know how to get you to get what they want.
Agreed. And they're definitely getting a lot better at doing the manipulation now that they're older. So we have come upon the hour where we are going to be closing out. Brother Chris has already had to step away. So we want to either, sir, you're always so good at really taking in what would have been some contributions, other than the fact that I have been using my kids for a security blanket for the last couple of years. What are some takeaways, some significant takeaways that you've learned or you heard from today?
A bunch of good ones is always be focused on handling things and with the best interest of your relationship. Always go after the things that you want. If you're going to say that you want to be with someone who's, looking for marriage, don't compromise on that. Also, it's just overall understanding. A person who understands how it is to have children, be with children, you have to make sure that's key. Because if you're a single parent, or even if you're not a single parent, you're just a parent who's single, a person dating you, if they have children or not, they have to understand, you have a place in my life once you get to that point, but my children also have a place. Like, it's a package deal.
That's on everything. That's period. And like I said, I really enjoy my children. So it's not like, I'm just looking for the next opportunity to kind of dump them off and an excuse someplace to run them, over to so I can, kick up my heels and start, just dancing it up and going out to eat without them. Like, the things that I enjoy doing with them. And so it is, just mentally, I'm kind of working with that at this point, just trying to say, well, what are these boundaries? So that I'm going to have to explore that a little bit more, doing some self-searching and, definitely digging into the word. But I want to thank everybody for really attending today. You guys, these Why Are You Single Saturdays have been, Chris and I, we really look forward to them during the day. And again, I want to thank you as well, CR Senior, for always, like I say, contributing, always listening, and really keeping a sense of balance as you do with the chats and beyond the board. I really do appreciate you, and I value your time and our conversation. So again, I want to invite everyone to sign up for Why Are You Single Saturday slumber party that is happening next Saturday. And y'all know how we're going to do this. We're going to go all in. It is going to be truth or dare. It's going to be some fun games. There are going to be some prizes. So you definitely want to make sure that you come ready to cam up. If you cannot cam up, if camming up is not an option, please do not come in. Do not come to the slumber party. If you would like to participate, please do send an email to cncshowus@gmail.com. Again, cncshowus@gmail.com. This will be on Chris. We will have our own channel. You can go ahead and you'll be able to subscribe. Once you send that email link, you'll be able to subscribe to the channel. And this will be a private event. It will also be the first event over on the new channel. So again, join us for the Why Are You Single Saturday, for the slumber party. However, if that's just not your thing, then of course catch us the following week on October 10th, where we'll be giving our co-host Chris a great send-off to Las Vegas for his birthday. So got a couple of very exciting things coming up, and really looking forward to sharing this with you guys. Thank you again for taking part. I don't even say until next time y'all know what to do, glow up, because this is a CNC show. So I'm just going to say, be well, be blessed, and in all things, love, light, and glow. Again, beyond the boards, feel free to email me anytime. Feel free to email cncshowus@gmail anytime, gmail.com anytime, as well as Chris checks those also for any of you that have specific men questions that you want answered. But thank you all for coming through, and shall see you soon.